Hello students, we have already got an awareness about what is HTML used for, which is the purpose is to make use tags and make web pages, and also CSS, which is used to decorate the HTML tags, make it more presentable. Students, now today I'm going to start with the discussion of JavaScripts. Okay, basically JavaScript can be explained in this one line, which states JavaScript is used or can be used to change HTML content. What do you mean by this? HTML content is, say, take an example. Students, I've made an image slider here. Okay, with HTML I could have gotten single static image, but as you can see up here with in this slider, which has been made using JavaScript, different images are coming. So on the same image tag. So that's the purpose of JavaScript, to change the HTML content. The image content HTML image tag has been continuously getting changed without any user intervention. Okay, so we can make more better animations once we understand the concept of JavaScripts. So to continue further, students, I'm going to teach you with the basics of JavaScripts. I'm going to demonstrate examples of how to write JavaScript statements, the syntaxes, the comments, variables, some arithmetic operators. So it's going to be an introduction to you about JavaScripts in this video, and then the details and further explorations can be done, okay, as we proceed ahead. It's very simple to use, student. So but we need to understand the basic purpose, which I'm repeating again. The basic purpose is to change HTML contents, okay, dynamically. So let's start up with the working of it, how to write it, where to write it. So HTML head tag, then a body tag. Okay, say I'm having this HTML element heading 1. Okay, and say this is heading 1. This is some text written, this is heading 1. Now students, it's just a static HTML now. When I see it up here, I can see the output. This is heading 1 coming. Okay, so let's add some JavaScript to change the HTML content. For changing the HTML content, we need to decide when to change. There are multiple scenarios could be there when this content could be changing. For example, it can be changed on a timer basis. It could be like when the user, there's a button and the user clicks on the button, or say the mouse is hovered on this particular text, or mouse is going out of this particular text, or a left click is happening on the text, or a right click is happening on the text. Okay, so the we have the changing can be done on basis of multiple events. Okay, hover, on, move, click, left click, right click. So what we are going to add up here is that an event is added on a source. Okay, so for example, what I will try to do is, let me add a button here, and on the click of the button, let this particular HTML text h1 tag data changes. Okay, so let's understand through JavaScript. So let me add a button here, so I can write this in this way, button tag. Okay, and a caption, say click me. Okay, so when I see the output, you can see now a button appearing. A button is appearing. Okay, and now what I want, when I click on it, then my text should change here. Okay, so there's an event now. What is the event? On the button. So I'll go into the button and write on click. This is one of the event. When the button is clicked, then what should happen? So I'm creating a user defined function, say change. It can be any name. I'm creating a function with the name change. What is this function? Function is some block of code which contains some task. Okay, and I can call that particular task whenever I need by calling the name of the function. So I'll write the function here, and now for this I'll add a script. This is my JavaScript now. So I'll write a function, say change, and the task would come here. What it should do, so it has an opening and closing curly braces, means whatever I want, when what should happen after the button is being clicked, that text would come here. Okay, so there is a linking been done, students. I'm having a source, there's an event, and there's a task to be called, and the body of the task would be written here. What I want to do is that I want to change the h1 tag element text which is typed here. Okay, so now on the click of the button, the processing will go from to this part, change function, because I am calling the change function, and the change function should search which tag you want to modify. So for making the search easier for the script, I'll give a name to this tag with a keyword ID. I'll give the name, say intro, any name I can give. I give intro, okay, just to label it, and then JavaScript will try to reach this particular tag. How we'll reach it is that whatever is put in the body tag, JavaScript denotes with the keyword called document. Okay, you search in the document. What you search? Document dot get me an element by I have the ID with me. What is the ID given? Intro. So this is the ID given to it. So now JavaScript knows that okay, he's talking about this particular tag, this particular element. What's to be done with this element? The inner data which is typed here need to be changed. So I can write dot inner HTML. Whatever is written inside it, that should be changed. What it should be there. I can write some new text now. Button clicked. Okay. So now this is my JavaScript, students. So I've denoted the document means the body tag. Get me the element with the ID intro means I'm talking about this element, h1 tag element. And what's to be done? I want to change the text which is been typed here by writing inner HTML. What this text to be changed to? What text it should be overwritten to? Button clicked. And when it all this should happen, when should the change function be called? On a on click. And what is the source of it? Is the button click. So let's run the application and see whether I am able to get a JavaScript, there's a dynamic content possible or not. So when I click on the button, students, I'm getting the HTML tag getting changed. So student, isn't it simple and easy? Okay, so it's a basic tag which you need to understand, okay, the syntax of it, but the purpose is very important, student, for us. Now further things can be added. We can play around with it. Say I want to add say this time, okay, we can also add something like variables. I'll teach you variables now. Okay, students, what I want to do is let me say I'll explain you what are variables. Okay, say I'm defining something like this: var equal to 100, var b equal to 200. What it represents, student? In a very simple terms, what are variables? First of all, so it is something like this. Say a teacher tells you to this lesson is going on, and what you need to do is that whatever we are explaining, you you need to remember it later on also. So what you do, students write it on a paper, or say like make a digital word file or something and document the work. The benefit of documenting is that at a later instance of time you can revert back to what was the lesson discussed, and you can okay work on it further. So it is something which is been stored, which can be later on retrieved, okay, and it can be worked on it. Same thing happens in computers also, students. uh, we have a concept of variables. Variables means what are containers for storing data values. I can say if I'm typing if you're typing something in Google Slides, so Google Slide is sort of a variable which is holding some presentations, some PPTs, some slides. If I'm opening a word file I can term as a variable because I can store something in it, some content are there. Okay, so same way in computers also we can have variables created which are working as containers for storing some data. What is the life of these variables? Till when it will be there? It's like a memory getting created, but the life of this memory is only till the program is, or till the browser, till the program is running in the browser. Okay, so students, I am defining a memory by writing this line. Okay, and the memory is given a name. The name given to the memory is A, and what is stored in this memory is, since the memory is used for storing purposes, I am storing a value in it which is an integer value which is 100, and defining another memory with by using variable. and the memory name is b, and I'm storing in that memory a value 200. Then I'm defining a third variable c and doing some mathematical tasks, say a plus b. Always equal to right side part is given to the left hand side. So when I say c equal to a plus b, a whatever stored in memory a would be fetched, that is 100. Whatever stored in memory b would be fetched, that is 200, and a c variable, a c memory will get a new answer which is 300. This 300 students can be displayed. So I can go here, okay, and you can write both in one function, or say I can create a separate functions also. So I can write up here, okay, this time what I want to do, let me comment this. Okay, I don't want button click to be message to be displayed, but I want document dot get element by id on the same tag which is my intro, okay, dot inner html. This time I want c value to be displayed. So let me just save my work and check the output. Student, when you run the output, when you click on the button, you'll get a message that is 300. Okay, so I am use a variable now. I'm using a variable now, and its value I am displaying it by using JavaScript. Students, we can also write like this. Say some label it. Answer is plus C. Like this. What would be the difference is that, students, when you run the program, you can see that you're getting this time 300, but along with it there's some caption coming, the answer is. But the important part to be noticed up here is that the plus symbol which is being used, which is the operator, plus operator, it is doing multiple roles. Here also I've used plus, and here also I've used plus. Plus operator is an overloaded operator. Overloaded means what? The plus operator looks at its operands. Operands means what is written on the left hand side, what is written on the right hand side. Since in this case the left and right operands are holding integers, plus symbol is doing addition, mathematical task. Whereas in this case, to the plus right side part it is an integer which is coming from variable c, but the left side part is put in double quotes which is a string. So in such cases, the plus symbol will not do addition as it did here, but it will do the work of concatenation. Concatenation means joining things together. So the plus operator looks at its operands, okay, and if any of one is the string type, it will concatenate the other text. To just prove you something further, I am putting these values of 100 in double quotes. When I put in quotes, double quotes or single quote, now this 100 is not treated as a number, it is treated as a string. And now what a plus b is happening, so it is not going to give me, the plus sign is not going to give me addition of two numbers, but it's treating it as not 100 but 100 plus 200, and the output would be 100 200 100 200. Okay, so if you're finding in the plus operator left and right, if you're writing strings, it will do concatenation, and if you are writing pure numbers, it will do addition. Okay, so students, we have operators in this example I have discussed with you. Okay, let me discuss with you some pre-built functions also. Say I want to display now the current system date and time. So I need some way to pick from the, okay, from the system's clock. So how to do it is that, say I will add up one h1 one h2 tag. Now let's change the tag, give him an id equal to date, okay, and date, this date and time, there's a caption, date and time displayed here, okay, and say I'm adding a button and say date and time, some caption to the button also, okay, sorry, date and time, okay, and let's change the function now to some other name, say display. Okay, so let me write the body of the display function. So when this second button is being clicked, what we want to do now is we want that a current system clock, date and time to be displayed. So let me write another function now with the name display. So I'm having two buttons and two functions, and on the display it should be displaying on the h2 tag. The element is given date. So document dot get element by id. We call the date tag date element date html name dot inner html, and we write a pre-built function with the name date. Okay, date can also be termed as an object, so I'll explain you why what difference between that. But right now I'm using some pre-built keyword. So when I click here, it gives me that old answer, that is 300. When I click here, it gives me the current system date and time. Okay, when I re-click it, it will give me, it will the incremented time, the current time will be displayed. So now student, the event is getting triggered, the seconds are coming changing to me, the time is changing to me, but with user's intervention. What if we need that, I want the digital clock to be displayed without actually, okay, continuously without actually human intervention or event by created by a human. So in such case students, we can have the option of doing so. There's a function with the name set timeout. Set timeout. Notice where I'm writing this set timeout function. Set timeout, I'm writing this function inside the display function only, and I'm telling it to give a call to this function automatically after every 1 second. 1000 means 1000 milliseconds means 1 second. So first time on the click of the button, display would be called. It will display the current date and time, and then we call set timeout function. Set timeout function is calling which function? The same display function. Okay, so this is called a recursion. Within the body of a function, we are calling itself display function. But when it should call after 1 second. So now automatically after 1 second it will call. It will display the new date and time to me. Again wait for a second and then again call display. So now it would be a digital clock format when you see the output. First time I call, okay, I save my work, right click, show it in browser. Okay, so I'm calling the display function here. Let me write this way. It's a function, right click, show it in browser. Okay, yes, so you can see now the digital clock is getting displayed. Okay, the timer is getting incremented. So students, so we see in this simple example, we are talking about multiple things here, and it's not difficult students to try out with. Okay, it's very easy to give a try. Okay, we have proper detailed tutorials also available. You can refer from these places. Okay, so we talk about variables, we can comment, we can display some text. Okay, let me show you further. Okay, and examples of using if conditions too. So this is called conditional statements. Okay, say for example, okay, JavaScript conditions. Why I taking this example? Because in the slider which I've made, okay, all these keywords have been used, all these terms have been used. Okay, so let me start something with an if conditions also, conditional statement also. Okay, so just to continue further, then I'll add up one more. I'll just copy and paste these things now. Okay, what I want to display is that let me name it, say, let me create an ID to it. Let me give it as, say, okay, ID is, say, number. Okay, and conditional statement I'm writing. Conditional statement. And what I want is that on click, give a call to a function, okay, which will use conditional statement. So I'll just name it, say, condition, and some caption, display here. Okay, so let me write one more function this time. Function with the name condition. Okay, Now what is the purpose of this conditional statement? Let's try to understand. So normally what happens, the flow of the program is always like whatever, if you call a function, it executes from top to bottom. Each line of code is getting executed. Okay. Say for example, I'm writing something like this, say a variable, say variable x equal to 100, variable y equal to 200, and this time what I want is that the answer variable c should get is out of the two, which one is the greatest number. Looking at it, we come to know 200 is the greatest number and it is stored in the variable y. But I want the computer to find it out for me. So I'll have to build some logic here. So for building that logic, we can write some conditions. I'll write if x is greater than y. Okay, so what you can store is that document dot get element by id, and the name I've written is the condition. Okay, dot inner html, you display what you display is, say greatest x is greatest, else if x is not greater than y, then document dot element by id display y is the greatest. So student, this here I've used some condition, and with condition what happens, each line of code is not executed. The output of this program would give me either this line, the first line, or the second line will be printed depending upon the condition. That is, if the condition is true, it gives a boolean value. It checks here and gives a boolean result. Boolean means true or false, yes or no. Say in this example, when I ask, is like asking, is x greater than y? Looking at it, we can tell no, x is not greater than y, 100 is not greater than 200. So as we say no, the computer says false, which is called a boolean. It's called, the term is called boolean. Okay, false. If so, the answer comes here is false in this scenario. Though if the answer is false, whatever is written immediately after if, whatever line is written immediately after if, that line won't be executed. Okay, the coding, the processor would make it jump to which part, else part. And if the condition is true, then whatever is written immediately after if would be executed. Okay, so there's a jump. That's why we call it a, which line would be executed depend upon the condition. That's why it's called conditional statement. So in this case, when I run my program, okay, and when I click on the third button now, I'm expecting an output that is y is the greatest to be displayed. Okay, so on click I'm calling the function condition. Okay, and okay, see why I'm not getting the answer, because the h2 tag which I've used, I have named it as number, so it should be, sorry, it should be number here. So I'll change it because that element should get affected. So save my example, right click it, open in browser, click it. So I'm getting y is greatest, students. Okay, because it gives me a boolean answer of false. When it's false, what is written in the else part would be executed. Let me change this now. Let me make this as 1000. So now in this case x is the greatest. So now when it checks for the condition, is x greater than y? Yes, in computer term it is true. If it's true, whatever is written immediately after if would be executed. So this time the output would be x is the greatest. Okay, so student, these are some of the examples. Okay, in the lesson then I will be discussing with you any queries, doubts you have, and then we'll be trying to make this slider, okay, a slider example, okay, and which uses all this what I've taught you today. Okay, so there will be a slider example which I'll discuss during the lesson time. Okay, so I'll give you time to practice, students, now. Okay, have a good day.